Hello everyone, myself I am Lakshmi Prasanna, studying first year ECE A section in Vasireddy Venkatadri Institute of Technology, having the roll number 20BQ180416. Today I would like to discuss a physics topic of semiconductors. I would like to start my semiconductors chapter with the origin of energy bands in crystalline solids. If you consider an atom, it will have many energy levels as 1s, 2s, and so on. If all when these isolated atoms are brought together to form a solid, it means if we combine all the atoms to form a solid, then there will be various interactions occur between the neighboring atoms. During this interaction, the higher energy levels are affected considerably, and consequently, the energy levels of the other also. This was set by exclusion principle. Here, hence, the single energy level of atom is split into large number of energy levels as shown. Since there are many number of atoms in a solid, so separation between the split energy levels is very small. Hence split energy levels are almost continuous and are said to have the forbid and are said to form a energy band. When coming to energy band, we have the energy bands are classified. They are conduction band, forbidden band, and valency band. When coming to valency band, the energy band occupied by the valency electrons is known as valency band, and the energy band which is empty or occupied by the conduction electrons is known as conduction band. The band which separates the valency band and conduction band is known as forbidden energy band. So crystalline of solids are classified based upon this band gap. It means forbidden energy gap only. When coming to the first one, it is insulators, and now I would like to say very deeply about these three diagrams. That one is first one is insulators. In insulators there is a large gap between the valency band and the conduction band. So if we material it should be a insulator, it should follow some conditions. That are, first one is solids have even number of valency electrons per atom, and the valency band and the conduction band separated by large energy gap. And in case of glass, the valency band is completely filled at 0k, and energy band gap between the valency and the conductors is of the order 10 electron volt. And in insulators, the forbidden energy gap will be greater than 3 electron volt. And when coming to the semiconductors, the energy band gap, forbidden gap between the filled valency band and the empty conduction band is small when compared to insulator, and more as compared to the conductors. In our periodic table, the mostly we use elements which are semiconductors are germanium and silicon. Germanium has forbidden energy gap 0.7 electron volt, whereas silicon has 1.1 electron volt. And when coming to the conductors, in conductors there is no forbidden gap between the valency band and the conduction band. It is observed that valency band overlaps with the conduction band. It means no gap. So due to absence of forbidden gap between the conduction band and valency band, there is no chance of presence of holes. And when coming to the forbidden energy gap in conductors is 0. And my next topic is how there will be chemical bonds in semiconductors. As previously I said, the most useful semiconductors in our periodic table is germanium and silicon. Both are tetravalent. Tetravalent means having 4 electrons in their valency shell. In figure you can see this, like this will be in germanium. When an electron escapes from the covalent bond, an empty space is left behind, which is called the hole. And when coming to different types of semiconductors, they are intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductors. What is meant by intrinsic? Intrinsic semiconductors means it's a pure semiconductor. And when coming to extrinsic semiconductor, extrinsic means nothing but adding of an impurity. That adding in this lesson we called as doping. If you add a pentavalent element, this these extrinsic semiconductors are of two types. They are n-type semiconductors and p-type semiconductors. So let us discuss about these two types of semiconductors. And the first one is n-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor we get by adding a pentavalent impurity to the pure crystal during the crystal. It means to a pure crystal, if you add a pentavalent, it means fifth group elements, it will convert into an n-type semiconductor. And when coming to p-type semiconductor, if for a pure crystal, if you add a trivalent impurities like boron, aluminum, it will convert as p-type semiconductor. And when coming to the Fermi energy level, as we early discussed that what is meant by conduction and valency band. In intrinsic one, the Fermi energy level will lie exactly middle of the conduction band and valency band. So when in n-type semiconductor, it will be nearer to the conduction band, and in p-type semiconductor, it will be nearer to the valency band. Why there is a difference in n-type and p-type means, in n-type there will be more number of electrons. The electrons will locate in conduction band. So the Fermi energy level moves towards the conduction band. Whereas in p-type there will be more number of holes. So the Fermi energy level moves towards the p-type semiconductor. And the next topic I would like to discuss with you is intrinsic carrier concentration. In intrinsic carrier concentration, we are going to discuss about calculation of density of electrons and calculation of density of holes. These both are very similar, density of electrons and density of holes. So first I would like to say to you about calculation of density of electrons. That is, if dn be the number of electrons available between the energy E and E plus D in the conduction band. So we can write as dn is equals to G of E into F of E dE. So what is meant by G of E is the density of electrons in the energy level, and F of E is the probability of occupants of electrons. So we can get G of E dE as 4 pi by h cube 2m whole to the power of 3 by 2 e power 1 by 2 dE. This we can get from quantum mechanics. And here 2m, m is the mass, where me is the mass of the electron, where me star is the effective mass of the electron. So I am replacing m with the effective mass of the electron, and then here E, I am replacing E with E minus EC, because we start in the, as we see in the diagram, here we are taking the density of the electrons. So from the bottom of the EC to the E, so E will be greater than EC, so we have to take E minus EC. And I am keeping a constant as A is equals to 4 pi by h cube 2m E star whole to the power of 3 by 2. So we will get finally as G of E D value as A into E minus EC whole to the power of 1 by 2 dE. And when coming to the F of E, as previously I said, it is the probability of occupants of electrons, and we have the formula for probability 1 by 1 plus exponential of E minus EF by KT. And the next one is, so now I am substituting the value of G in dN. So we will get the equation 6.4. For what purpose we are calculating this? We want total number of electrons in the conduction band. So to obtain the total number of electrons, I am integrating the equation on both sides with the limits taking from EC to infinity. So we will get in the left hand side n is equals to integral lower limit EC to upper limit infinity A into E minus EC whole to the power of 1 by 2, 1 by 1 plus exponent of E minus EF by KT dE. So in the denominator we can neglect the 1, and when denominator is taken to the numerator, due to sign convention we will get the minus, and if we multiply the minus to the inverse, we get EF minus E. And I am taking all the constants to the out of the integral, and we will have the terms to integrate are e minus ec whole to the power of 1 by 2 exponent of minus e by kt de. And the next slide. To solve the before equation, it means to solve this equation, I am assuming something, that is taking e minus ec is equals to x and capital E minus ec is equals to x. So my lower limit ec will become 0, and when I am taking minus ec to the right hand side, it will become plus ec. So when I differentiate on both sides, we will get de is equals to dx. So my upper limit will become infinity to infinity. I am substituting all these values in the 6.5 equation. So we will get the equation as n is equals to a into exponent of ef by kt integral 0 to infinity x power 1 by 2 exponent of minus ec by minus x by kt. Here I am replacing minus e with minus ec minus x from the assumption of e minus ec is equals to x, and again I am taking the constant to the outside of the integral. So I have the variables to integrate is x power 1 by 2 exponent of minus x by kt, and outside the integral I have two exponents, so I will combine both of them, and we also know that integral 0 to infinity x power 1 by 2 exponent of minus x dx is equals to root of pi by 2, and integral 0 to infinity x power 1 by 2 exponent of minus x by kt dx is equal to kt whole to the power of 3 by 2 root pi by 2. From this I will substitute these values in equation 6.6. So my equation becomes n is equals to a into exponent of ef minus ec by kt into kt whole to the power of 3 by 2 under root pi by 2. And my next step is I am substituting. In before I have taken a constant value a in place of 4 pi by h cube to me star whole to the power of 3 by 2. I am substituting that, and by simplifying and solving we will get n is equals to 2 into 2 pi me star kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2 exponent of ef minus ec. This is the calculation of density of electron, and similarly we can also calculate the density of the holes also. I would like to say some of the differences what we have to take. In previous we have taken dn because they are number of electrons, but in case of holes we have number of holes, so dp we should take, and in place of fe we should take 1 minus fe because already f of e for electrons, so remaining is 1 minus fe for holes. And by using this we can calculate similarly as to the holes also, and we will get the holes formula as P is equal to 2 into 2 pi mh star kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2 exponent of ev minus ef by kt. This is for intrinsic semiconductors, and my next topic is to explain you is extrinsic semiconductors. In extrinsic semiconductors, we know that there are two types, that is p-type carrier concentration and n-type carrier concentration. Both are similar. If we get one and the other one is very easy. First I would like to explain you about n-type carrier concentration. Here I am taking Nd as donor concentration and Ed as donor energy level, and I am taking the formula of intrinsic semiconductor for electrons 1, n is equal to 2 into 2 pi me star kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2 exponent of ef minus ec by kt. And I would like to explain about this n-type carrier concentration. At very low temperatures, all the donor levels are filled with electrons. With a increase of temperature, more and more donor atoms get ionized, and the density of electrons in conduction will increase. So the density of ionized donors must be equal to the density of electrons in conduction band at very low temperatures. So I am equating both of them. Nd into 1 minus f of Ed is equals to density of electrons in the conduction band. By this we can simplify that. We will get the value by solving. We will get the value of 1 minus f of Ed as exponent of Ed minus Ef by Kt. Okay, now I am applying log on both sides, so we will get log Nd base C of here log and exponent will get cancelled, and Ed minus Ef by Kt, that is equals to log of 2 into 2 pi me star kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2 plus Ef minus Ec by Kt. Now I would like to take Ed, Ef and Ec all the values to one side and remaining to the other side. So by changing, we will get 2Ef minus Ec minus Ed by Kt is equals to log of Nd by 2 into 2 pi me star Kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2. Now I am taking this denominator Kt to the other side. It will get multiplied to the other term. And I am also taking Ec, Ed to the other values, and my intention is to find the energy of the Fermi energy level. So I am taking the 2 also to the other side. So we will get the Fermi energy level is equals to Ec plus Ed by 2 plus half Kt log of Nd by 2 into 2 pi me star Kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2. Now I would like to substitute this E of value in the electrons in the conduction band value. It means n is equals to 2 into 2 pi me star Kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2 exponent of Ef minus Ec. So now I have substituted the obtained Ef value in equation 1. So we will get this huge value. So now I would like to solve this huge value and take the denominator 2 as the common. So we will get as like this 2 will get common, and here Ec minus 2 Ec, so minus Ec plus Kt, and in denominator we get 2 Kt, and by separating this 2 Kt to the variables, Ed minus Ec by 2 Kt plus a half log E of Nd by 2 into 2 pi me star Kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2. And now here I am in this slide we have half log E, so I am taking this half to the power of this. So I am expanding this exponential to the term exponential of Ed minus Ec by 2 Kt, and exponential and log get cancel, and we will get the term Nd by 2 into 2 pi me star Kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 2 of 1 by 2. And by solving this huge value, we will get the simplified value as Ne is equals to 2 Nd whole to the power of 1 by 2 2 pi me star Kt by h square whole to the power of 3 by 4 exponent of Ed minus Ec by 2 Kt. And from this we can derive that number of electrons is directly proportional to the Nd. And we can similarly calculate for p-type semiconductor also. In p-type semiconductor we will get p-type semiconductor we will get as where like this, similarly only NH is directly proportional to Na. And this is about p-type and n-type carrier concentration. And my next topic is equation of conductivity. We know that at finite temperature, due to thermalization, some of the valency band electrons are always present in conduction band, and an equal number of holes are present in the valency band. In the absence of any applied electric field, these electrons will move random, and when we apply the electric field, they will get accelerated. So that the extra velocity acquired by the carriers in presence of applied electric field is called the drift velocity, and it is denoted by Vd, where Vd is directly proportional to the applied electric field. And I am taking mu as proportionality constant, so we will get the mu value is equals to Vd by E, where mu is called the mobility of charge carriers. And when coming to conductivity of the intrinsic semiconductors, we can say that where Nd denote the number of electrons in conduction band of semiconductor, and let the drift velocity of the electron due to an electric field E is Vde. So we can calculate the electron density J is equals to NeE Vde, and we from previous equation we know that previously we know Vd is equal to mu E. By equating them, we will get J is equals to Ne E mu E capital E, and by Ohm's law we know that J is equal to sigma E, and by equating the equations J is equal to Ne mu E and J is equal to sigma E, we will get the equation sigma of E is equals to Ne E mu E. This is for electrons, and for holes sigma H is equal to NHE mu H. For total conductivity of intrinsic semiconductor is given by addition of holes and electrons, and we will get finally as sigma is equals to E into Ne mu E plus NH mu H. This is nothing but equation of conductivity. And in electrical conductivity of intrinsic semiconductor is we will get by equating in intrinsic semiconductor number of electrons is equal to number of H. So we will get sigma is equals to ENI into mu E plus mu H, and we know the formula as in the calculation of density of electrons 1. By equating both of the calculation of density of electrons and holes, we will get the formula as Ni is equal to 2 into 2 pi kt by h square 3 power whole to the power of 3 by 2 me star mh star whole to the power of 3 by 4 exponent of minus eg by 2 kt. So now I am substituting this Ni value in the what we have, that sigma is equal to ENI into mu E plus mu H. So we will get the equation as sigma is equal to 2E mu E plus mu H 2 pi kt by h square me star mh star whole to the power of 3 by 4 exponent of minus Eg by 2 kt, where mu E and mu H are strongly dependent of temperature. This is for intrinsic semiconductor. When coming to extrinsic, there are again two types, p-type and n-type. For n-type semiconductor, sigma is equals to Nd mu E, and for p-type semiconductor, sigma is equals to Na mu H E. And my next topic to you is drift and diffusion and Einstein's equation. What is meant by the drift? The motion of charge carriers under the influence of electric field is known as drift. We know that I is equals to V by R, and R we know R is equal to rho L by capital A. I am substituting in this formula. So I will get the formula as 1 by rho V by L into A, and I also know the formula I is equal to sigma E capital A, and from this I will calculate I by A is equal to sigma E, and I by A is equal to J, that is nothing but current density. So we have calculated current density J is equal to sigma E bar. And when coming to the diffusion is nothing but motion of charge carriers due to concentration variation is known as diffusion, and the motion of the particle is given as minus dN by dx. The minus indicates the opposite direction, so current density is directly proportional to minus E into dN by dx, and it is the proportionality is replaced with capital D. And next topic please. And for similarly for holes and for electrons also like this only. And when I am combining the both, it means the total current density due to drift and diffusion in semiconductors is given by Jx plus Jn plus Je. In drift we have calculated for one only. Here we are giving drift is equals to Jx is equals to Ne mu E for holes, this one, and Pe mu H for Ne mu E is for electrons and Pe mu H is for holes. So I am adding both of them. Here Jx in place I am writing Ne mu E plus Pe mu H Ex, and in place of Jn I am writing plus dne of dn by dn. Here the minus is cancelled because the electrons move opposite to the direction, so we will get minus. Already Jn has the minus, so minus into minus we will get the plus, and Jp minus dpe of dp by dx. And when coming to the Einstein's relation between d and the mu is given by d is equals to kt by e of mu. So d by mu we can get as kt by e, that is equals to vt. It means if d by mu is equals to dp by mu n and dn by mu is equals to kt by e, that is equals to vt, where vt is the volt equivalent temperature and d is the diffusion coefficient, k is the Boltzmann constant, T temperature in Kelvin, and E change of electron, mu is the mobility. And my last topic in the semiconductor, last but not least, is the Hall effect. This Hall effect was discovered by Hall, and in this experiment we are applying a magnetic field perpendicular to the current carrying conductor. This is the input, and the output we get is the potential difference developed between the points on opposite side of the conductor. This is the diagram. Here we are applying a magnetic field perpendicular to the current carrying conductor. So we have the magnetic deflecting force is equals to E into Vd into B. From where we get this formula? We have a famous formula in magnetism, that BQV sin theta. Here we are applying magnetic field perpendicularly. It means at 90 degrees, where theta is equal to 90 and sin 90 is equals to 1. So we get the formula for magnetic deflecting force. Force is equals to E into Vd into B, where Hall electric deflecting force is equal to E into capital H as the net force on the charge carrier becomes 0. So I am equating both of them, and by writing the magnitude and writing in terms of magnitude, we get as EH is equals to minus VdB. And we know that the drift velocity is related to the current density. Vd is equals to J by Ne, where EH is equals to 1 by Ne into Jb. It means in the formula of 6.4, in the formula of EH is equals to minus VdB, I am substituting V in place of Vd J by Ne. So we will get EH is equals to 1 by Ne Jb. And if VH is the Hall voltage, we will get as EH is equals to VH by D. And finally, the ratio of Hall electric field to the product of current density and magnetic induction B is known as Hall coefficient. It is denoted by RH. RH is equal to EH by JB. Here I am here we know that EH value as 1 by NE JB. So by substituting that, we will get RH is equals to 1 by M. The Hall coefficient is negative when charge carriers are electrons and positive when charge carriers are holes. I hope this lesson semiconductor understood to you, and I have done a great job, and thank you for listening to my presentation.